can fight, yeah. For boxers his level, yes.
Meaning what? Not your level?
I do not believe so, no, not at all.
Mike Tyson launched a brutal attack on Jake Paul after Paul finally decided to speak out about the November 15th fight. Paul not only tarnished Tyson's legacy with absurd rumors about the fight being rigged, but also claimed that Tyson needed the money to step into the ring. Really, Jake?
In the gym training. I'm boxing professional fighters. I'm just, activity is great. I had 15 fights in 1 year when I was younger, and I think activity is great, but I'm
A global icon for decades begging a YouTuber for cash? Let's pause for a second. Does Jake even understand the rules of boxing? Or is he just making stuff up as he goes? It's hard to tell because, at this point, it's clear that Jake Paul has no idea what he's talking about. He's about to pay the price for it. Honestly, the Tyson-Paul fight was the boxing match nobody asked for, but somehow couldn't stop watching.
Getting back in the ring, he's 58 years old. He's facing off against YouTuber turned boxer, 27-year-old Jake.
When news broke that 57-year-old Mike Tyson would step into the ring with 27-year-old Jake Paul, the internet collectively raised its eyebrows. Was this a legitimate fight or the world's most bizarre midlife crisis? Critics were already calling it a circus before the opening bell even rang. The age gap was the least of the concerns. On one side, you had Tyson, a living legend, and on the other, Jake Paul, a social media personality turned boxer whose greatest weapon is his ability to trend on Twitter. The match felt like mixing vintage wine with cheap soda. Then came the most foolish claim, Jake's supposed financial rescue theory. According to him, Tyson practically begged for the fight because he needed the payday. Seriously, Jake? The same Tyson who built a cannabis empire and probably has more money in his couch cushions than you have in your crypto wallet. Fans were stunned.
Is an alleged script leak. This has not been confirmed. Take it with a grain of salt. No one knows if this is real.
Just when the fight hype was dying down, a script leak emerged. This wasn't some sketchy Reddit post either. It was a fully detailed round-by-round breakdown of how the fight would supposedly play out. According to the script, Tyson would start strong with his iconic bob and weave. Jake would weather the storm, and by round 5, Tyson would hit the mat after a perfectly timed right hook. It sounded like something cooked up in a Hollywood writer's room, right? Fans couldn't believe how specific the script was and how disturbingly close it came to what actually happened. Tyson looked slower, Jake more precise. Even the part about Tyson getting cut above the eye matched reality. Suddenly, the fight felt less like boxing and more like WrestleMania with better PR.
Of Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy.
Meanwhile, Tyson stayed suspiciously quiet. No furious denial, no public outburst. It was almost as if he was letting people talk, or maybe he was trying to figure out who leaked the plot twist to the public. If there really was a contract with a non-disclosure clause, someone was in serious trouble. But Jake, being Jake, couldn't keep his mouth shut on his podcast. He casually mentioned that he eased off during the fight to avoid hurting Tyson because he was the real threat. This little comment exploded faster than one of Tyson's uppercuts. Was Jake admitting the fight was staged? Was he just bragging? Or worse, was he too clueless to realize he might have just spilled a career-ending secret? At this point, the Tyson-Paul fight went from controversial to straight-up legendary for all the wrong reasons. Fans weren't just questioning the match. They were rewriting the entire storyline in their head.
Life is a legacy. Legacy to me means ego. Who the cares about my legacy? I'm gonna be dead soon one day. But he's not.
Mike Tyson's patience snapped faster than Jake Paul's claims of being a legitimate boxer after weeks of hearing rigging accusations and seeing that ridiculous leaked fight script spread like wildfire. Tyson finally fired back, and it wasn't with his fists. This time, in an interview with Fox Sports Radio, the former heavyweight champ dismissed the rigging rumors, declaring it was a real fight. He didn't just say it. He practically growled it, daring anyone to question whether getting punched 78 times was part of some grand conspiracy.
We're going to talk Darren Till versus Tommy Fury / John Fury, of course. But first, some more important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You know, you have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust two professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling his punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better of them. You know, I really did. I thought that Mike Tyson, especially, Iron Mike, he was just going to go in there and knock Jake clean out. But here he is, not trying. I'm so disappointed in him. But you don't need to take...
And let's be clear, Tyson wasn't just brushing off the allegations, he was seething. His point was simple. You don't fake waking up the next day feeling like you got run over by a cement truck. But this wasn't just about physical pain. Tyson's real fury came from what the rigging rumors did to his legacy. For Tyson, it wasn't just an insult. It was a slap in the face with brass knuckles. His legendary status now came with asterisks, thanks to a viral fight script that read like something rejected from a Rocky sequel. Behind the scenes, the whispers got even juicier. Insiders claimed there was a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, involved. The kind that comes with scary legal warnings in all caps. If true, this would have barred anyone from spilling details about the fight being anything less than 100% authentic. Yet, Jake Paul couldn't resist playing loose with the facts on his podcast. He casually claimed he eased off during the match as if he was some kind of merciful boxing god granting Tyson a pass. This wasn't just Jake being cocky. It was potentially NDA-breaking cocky. Sources hinted that Jake might have crossed a line thicker than Tyson's boxing gloves, suggesting Tyson was ready to go full legal bulldog if that NDA existed. Tyson's rumored rage over this wasn't just about the fight. It was about protecting the brand he spent decades building, the same brand Jake Paul was now dragging through the mud for content. Statistically, Jake Paul outperformed Tyson in nearly every measurable way minus 78 punches landed versus Tyson's paltry 18. On paper, it looked like a masterclass in boxing domination, except for one glaring issue. It was Mike Tyson, the man who knocked out legends with fewer punches than that on his worst days. Seeing Tyson struggle to connect even a few clean shots felt like watching Superman lose a wrestling match to SpongeBob. Yet ringside footage told a different story. From the crowd's perspective, the hits looked brutal and painfully real. Tyson didn't seem like someone playing a scripted role. He looked like someone desperately trying to relive past glory while his body begged him to sit down. His iconic bob and weave looked more like a slow shuffle, and his punches came with the speed of a buffering YouTube video. Even Tyson himself admitted to feeling off. He confessed to blanking out mid-fight, something that raised even more eyebrows. Was it exhaustion, age, or something deeper that nobody saw coming? Whatever it was, his sluggish performance only added credibility to the conspiracy theories, even if the truth might have been far less dramatic than the undeniable spectacle that unfolded in the ring.